This is Mindfulness with Richard. This series focuses on mindfulness meditation. Listen, reflect, and deeply meditate. I'm Richard Clarke. Welcome. We've been exploring advanced aspects of mindfulness practice. And so far, I've talked about cultivating equanimity, dealing with difficult emotions, exploring impermanence, deepening concentration, and developing witness consciousness. In today's session, I'll conclude this series with exploring mindfulness in everyday life. As an experienced mindfulness meditator, you have likely developed a strong practice of mindfulness during your formal meditation sessions. However, the true goal of mindfulness meditation is not to be mindful only during these sessions, but to integrate mindfulness into your everyday life. In this session, we'll explore how you can cultivate mindfulness in your daily activities and interactions, allowing you to live a more present and fulfilling life. This is what I recommend. First, recognize the power of the present moment. Mindfulness is all about being present in the moment and observing your thoughts, emotions, and sensations with curiosity and non-judgment. You probably already have a good grasp of this concept. However, it's important to remember that mindfulness is not just something you practice during formal meditation sessions. It's something you can bring into every moment of your day. Whether you're washing dishes, walking the dog, or having a conversation with a friend, there's always an opportunity to be mindful. You are conscious every moment. There's no reason why you can't pay attention then to every moment. By recognizing the power of the present moment and bringing your attention fully to what you're doing, you cultivate mindfulness in your everyday life. Then start with simple activities. One of the best ways to integrate mindfulness into your daily life is to start with simple activities that you do regularly. These might include things like brushing your teeth, taking a shower, or making your morning coffee. These are things you probably do by habit now. Instead of doing them mindlessly by habit, we can do them mindfully. By focusing your attention fully on these tasks and observing the sensations and thoughts that arise, you can begin to develop a new habit of mindfulness in your everyday life. As you practice mindfulness in these simple activities, you'll likely find that it becomes easier to bring mindfulness into more complex things and interactions. Over time, you'll begin to develop a greater sense of presence and awareness in all aspects of your life. There's no reason why you can't be mindful all the time. Awareness is present all the time. Mindfulness is just directing this awareness deliberately on purpose. The next thing is to cultivate mindful relationships. Another important aspect of mindfulness in everyday life is with mindful relationships. This means bringing your full attention and awareness to your interactions with others, whether they're colleagues, friends, or family members. When you're in a conversation with someone, try to really listen to what they're saying and be fully present with them. Avoid the temptation to check your phone or think about what you're going to say next. Instead, focus on being a good listener and responding with empathy and kindness. Try to really listen to what they're saying and respond with empathy and kindness. By cultivating mindful relationships, you'll not only deepen your connection with others, but also develop a greater sense of compassion and understanding. We haven't talked much about this. There will be sessions coming up that do talk about it. Next is to embrace mindful movement. Mindfulness meditation often involves sitting still and focusing on your breath, but you can also cultivate mindfulness through movement. This might include things like yoga or Tai Chi, or just taking a walk. I've used mindfulness walking meditation and even driving meditation for years, and I've had some of my deepest experiences with moving meditation. When you engage in mindful movement, you bring your full attention to the sensations in your body and the feeling of the movements you're making. Observe any thoughts and emotions that arise and simply let them be without judgment or attachment. By cultivating mindfulness through movement, you can improve your physical and mental well-being while also deepening your mindfulness process. Mindfulness while moving actually engages more of your brain than usual, as your brain's geolocation system becomes active, placing you in time and space and keeping track of your movements. Maybe that's why I've had these deep experiences with moving meditation. More of my brain was involved. The next is to practice gratitude. A powerful way to cultivate mindfulness in everyday life is to practice gratitude. This means taking time to appreciate the good things in your life, whether they're big or small. When we take the time to appreciate the good things, we're essentially practicing mindfulness of the present moment. So each day, try to identify a few things that you're grateful for and take a moment to really savor them. Make it a routine. This might include things like being grateful for a beautiful sunset, a good cup of coffee, or the love of support of your family. Maybe you're grateful for a smile from a friend, or simply a day when not too many things went wrong. By practicing gratitude regularly, you can cultivate a sense of joy and contentment in your life while also deepening your mindfulness practice. We're not lost in thoughts about the past or worries about the future. Instead, we are fully present with the beauty and joy that's right in front of us that we find every day. So bring mindfulness into your life. By bringing mindfulness into your everyday life, you deepen your practice and cultivate a greater sense of presence and awareness in all aspects of your life. When I talk about integrating mindfulness into your everyday lives, I'm essentially talking about bringing the same level of attention and awareness that you cultivate during formal meditation sessions into your daily activity and interactions. A key benefit of doing this is that it helps you live more fully in the present moment. When you're mindful, you're not lost in thoughts about the past or worries about the future. Instead, you're fully present with whatever is there, whether it's washing the dishes, walking the dog, having a conversation with a friend, or simply sitting quietly. This helps you feel more grounded, calm, and centered, even in the midst of a busy or stressful day. It also can help you notice and appreciate the small moments of beauty and joy that often go unnoticed when you're caught up in your thoughts. So to start integrating mindfulness into your everyday life, you might begin by choosing one or two simple activities that you do regularly and practicing mindfulness while you do them. For example, you might decide to be fully present while you're brushing your teeth in the morning, noticing the sensations of the toothbrush on your teeth and gums, and the taste of the toothpaste in your mouth, the feel of the mouthwash afterwards. Over time, you can begin to expand your mindfulness practice into other activities and interactions. For example, you might practice being fully present while you're walking outside, noticing the feel of your feet on the ground, the movement of your body, the sights and sound around you, and the feel of your skin. By practicing mindfulness in your everyday life, you deepen your meditation practice and cultivate a greater sense of presence and awareness in all aspects of your life. This can help you live more fully and joyfully, even in the midst of a busy or challenging day. So give it a try. See what you can do towards extending your mindfulness into your everyday life. So now, how was your meditation in the last week, Barley?
It was good, and I had a good time walking. My mind wasn't wandering a great deal. It was different. It was like taking one step after the other and blocking out the sounds of the traffic and people walking by me. So I think it was spot on.
Very good. And it sounds like you could tell the difference in how it felt.
Yeah, there seemed to be a difference, right? Less
Hmm.
distractions.
Hmm. And, here, one of the things to notice that you've been doing this for a while and you're getting results. And one of the results is you're better able to focus and maintain your concentration on what you're doing. That's
Mhm.
actually a real positive sign.
I'm looking forward to trying it when I'm making my coffee and brushing my teeth.
That's good. That's good.
I hadn't thought about that before.
Okay, perfect. Then maybe you'll have something to take away from this session.
Yes.
Very good. How about you, Doug?
The last couple of days, I've been having really good meditations. Over the weekend, I don't know, my mind was just in a turmoil. I really couldn't get myself to meditate.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I realized that when my mind was in turmoil, that's when I really needed to meditate.
Right,
So
right.
I kept at it and kept at it. So by the beginning of this week, I was doing better.
Very good. So are you finding that it's possible to kind of observe the turmoil instead of participating in it so much? Can you watch it go by?
I, it took me a while, but yes, I was finally able to.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yes,
Wonderful. Again, that's real power. And, the troublemaker in all of our lives is our minds, which get carried away with this stuff. And unless we are participating in it, it doesn't affect us. So our mind can just be going, and it only affects us when we somehow identify and hold on to it and think, this is me. But
yeah, I
it's,
think the my mind gets upset when it senses it's losing control,
uh-huh,
and so it is like it starts jumping around and gets
of
more
course,
active.
of course. It's say, you're not paying enough attention to me, so I gotta do something.
Yes,
Otherwise, otherwise you may not pay any attention to me at all. And your mind doesn't like it. You like it, but your mind doesn't. It's funny.
yeah,
But the fact that you can like it while your mind is agitated about it shows that you're not your mind.
all right. I most certainly am not.
Uh-huh. Anyway, so that's a big deal, Doug. Good work. Even, so it still shows how with these things going on, mental agitation going on, as you start to notice that it is just this kind of mental activity and you're not the mind, then you can take a step back and start to get free of it and start to find peace again.
Yes.
Anyway, good work. That's what we want. How about you, Carol?
Well, as you've been talking, I was reminded of an experience that I had in the last couple of weeks where I was doing some kind of kitchen prep and using a parer and cutting off skin off of a cucumber or something. And I sort of for the first time consciously was really paying attention to what I was doing. And it really felt different. It was like in a different realm almost. And I've been aware for years that that's what we're supposed to be doing, but I'm also aware that I haven't been doing it. So it was a really interesting experience. And I tried then to recreate it. And then no, the
Right.
mind was going all over the place. But I did experience how that could work. And it was
Uh-huh. And it's funny with these things, you have the experience has this meaning to you and all that stuff, but you try to go back and do it again, and it's not there.
yeah. So I think I need to go back to the Zendo and
That's
learn more.
right. That's right. Uh, I think the back to the Zendo, after we meditate, there'll be a guy telling a Zen story. And I've heard it, and Carol has heard it many times. And I think back to the Zendo is the punchline of the story. Okay, very good. So let us take a few minutes and meditate together. And let me get our picture up. This will be a picture about mindfulness in ordinary activity. And mindfulness is being present moment awareness, paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally, fully receive whatever is experienced, then let it go. All right. And now we have a video with a Zen story.
Take refuge in the Sangha, in the Dharma, in the wisdom and example of the Buddha. Continuing making comments on the stories in Zen Flesh Zen Bones by Nyogen Senzaki and Paul Reps. This is story number 35, Every Minute Zen. Zen students are with their masters at least 10 years before they presume to teach others. That, to me, is an understatement. Nanen was visited by Tenno, who, having passed his apprenticeship, had become a teacher. Now, becoming a teacher is not a thing. Our life is an evolution. So anybody who graduates from college, that's the beginning of the career. That's the beginning when they can step out and maybe get a job, maybe they can take on an occupation where they can really learn. And that certainly is true in the Zen tradition, that you are working with somebody, you feel they've got a good, solid understanding of Dharma, feel like they have their heart is oriented toward practice, and you affirm and support and encourage them. But that's not the end of training. In a way, there is no end to training. But that is a graduating from college and stepping out. And when you step out, then there's more work to do. So here's a young teacher who worked with his teacher for 10 years or so. It might be a reasonable amount of time if you live with a teacher. So here he comes and meets, the young teacher meets an older teacher. The day happened to be rainy, so Tenno wore wooden clogs, geta. Geta or wooden clogs are an old form of Japanese sandal, and they raise the foot up, about 1.5 inches off the ground. And they were particularly useful in walking through mud or rain to keep the feet clean. So he was wearing these geta, these wooden clogs, and he was carrying an umbrella. Fairly standard travel equipment. After greeting him, Nanen, the older teacher, remarked, "I suppose you left your wooden clogs in the vestibule." That's standard protocol is, you come to a temple or a home in Japan and you remove the shoes that you've been walking on the outside with so you don't track dirt into the next room. So I suppose you left your geta outside. I wonder if you were aware of where you put your umbrella. I wonder, were you paying attention? Did you put your umbrella in the right or the left side of your shoes? That's all. Simple question like that. Tenno had no instant answer. He couldn't remember. He didn't know. He was mindless. He was unable to actually pay attention to what he was doing moment to moment. And he realized in that moment, oh, I'm not alert. I'm not present moment to moment to moment. I went unconscious. Probably he was worried about seeing this other teacher. He was thinking about the future. He was not present. And that struck this student, Tenno, deeply. He realized he was unable to carry his Zen mindfulness every minute. So this was an extraordinary person, Tenno. He then became Nanen, the older teacher's pupil, and he studied 6 more years to accomplish every minute Zen. So he studied at least 10 years to get his initial kind of approval, and then 6 more years of refining his meticulous moment-to-moment awareness. because Zen and reality is not found in the past or the future. It's found in the direct apperception of the experience of this moment. Attention, attention, attention.
Now, that's what we are trying to do, and that's what this session was about. Now, let's have our final meditation. All right. And now let's close with the chant. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Shanti.
Om. Peace, peace,
Peace.
peace. All right. Questions, comments, discussion.
I like everyday meditation.
Yes. It also shows me, that story shows me how important this mindfulness is, and how this is something that Buddhists have practiced for hundreds and hundreds of years.
It should help you prevent dementia, I would think, too.
Oh, I bet.
Some little things.
Mm-hmm. 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 But again, imagine here you were, you think after 10 years of practice that you were ready to go ahead and to teach others. And then you realize that you weren't yourself actually paying attention yet. And so now you have to spend another 6 years learning to pay attention.
When I practiced Taekwondo, my master would say, always go back to unit 1 and work on similar.
What was unit 1?
Unit 1.
Okay. Is that going back to beginner's mind?
Yeah, I bet that would be.
Certainly, unit 1 is when you don't know anything and you're just open at the very beginning, open and curious. Anyway, now you know what Carol means when she says back to the Zendo.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And
in Taekwondo, it's like, I think he was saying that even though you progress to black belt, you still need to practice the
basics.
basics.
And with mindfulness, the basics are pretty simple. It's just pay attention.
It sounds simple.
Yes, it does. But sounding simple, I believe I have said to Carol back to the Zendo many times over the last 30 years. So
I put salt in my coffee this past Sunday.
oops.
That was
Back to the
good.
Zendo.
Not too much salt, or too much. Too much. Well, I heard that it was supposed to be good to put a little salt in your coffee, but you were replacing the salt you thought was sugar.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that wouldn't be good.
It was not good at all.
No.
I did, though, Barley, I did recently read that a little bit of salt is supposed to do something good for your coffee. So,
but I think Doug exceeded that.
Not a sugar amount, though.
No, it was definitely not good. Fortunately, it was hot, so my first sip was a small sip.
Ah, okay.
Well, that would be something to work on then, mindfulness when you're preparing your coffee every day. That would
Well, again, one of the things uh, that I think the heart of the session that we had today is there are many things in our lives that we do by habit. And when
Yeah.
we do those things by habit, our mind is wandering wherever it's wandering, and we're not paying attention to what we're doing. So when Carol was working with the vegetables, then all of a sudden she wasn't doing it by habit anymore. And when she wasn't doing it by habit, in this case, it was a noticeable experience for her, and it actually meant something. And, so this habit is, I think, the enemy, if you will, of mindfulness. That's what happened to the Zen guy. He just put down his umbrella by habit, and he didn't know where he put it. So that's why the suggestions that I made of every moment mindfulness started with things like brushing your teeth, which you do by habit, most people. Another related exercise that we haven't done here because it's hard to do it over the internet is mindful eating. You'd be surprised how much of eating for most people is just habit. And when you slow down and notice what you're doing, it becomes a different experience. That's one of the things about going to a big fancy restaurant is you actually probably pay more attention to what you're eating than you normally do. And because you pay more attention, it's this richer experience. And it didn't have anything to do with the food. It's just you paying attention. Okay. Well, I think another good session, and we'll see you next week. Have good meditation, and namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Richard.
All right. You're welcome. You want deeper meditation, more peace, more happiness. Subscribe now to continue to find ways to get more from your meditation.